Okay, YouTube, so I've got something on my plate, and what that is Deftones Around the Fur. So with this project, this is kind of seen as one of those classic new metal albums. Got a lot of attention, kind of similar to $3 Bill by Limp Bizkit. I mean, it's funny how the albums from 1997 are the ones that collect the most attention, but with this, this was something that was kind of really, it had its ups on the trends that were to come. I feel like Korn was another one, which these guys actually kind of did some shows with early in their career. But about these guys, so they're from California, and they did shows on the West Coast. That's where they recorded their album, and they released an album in 1995. This is their second one from 97. So a reason why I don't always review the first album is just because sometimes bands find their spike in quality usually on the second. They get it down by the time they're on their second project, whether it comes out a year later or 2 years later or whenever. The first one is always rough around the hinges, and so I probably will review it, but this is the album that I chose to start with, and it's a doozy. It definitely is going to get a 10, but the main problem with it is I still feel like nu metal was kind of early at this point, but they also switched up their styles, so apparently they went to different forms. I don't know if they went to post-grunge or what they wound up doing, but they departed from the Limp Bizkit and Korn sound rather quickly. So their next album after this is White Pony, which I'm going to see how that went, but they did manage to do some good music here, so this is definitely one that you need to hear. But there are bands that do this. I mean, that's the thing, is you get something different and you kind of get used to something. So I'm interested as far as what their future records are going to sound like, because I think Incubus kind of did this as well. And so what to expect from them is kind of a sound similar to Limp Bizkit, except it's a little bit more. They didn't sound, if we were to compare this to $3 Bill, I'd say that they sound more confident in their, efforts. So it's not so much that they just have it down, and yeah, that's a good thing to be expected. So the only thing left is how the singles turned out. So with these songs, the problem with it was I don't think America and these countries knew what to expect. It was a little bit bigger in the UK, but I'm kind of uncertain as to how and why these songs did not chart higher than they did. So that's the thing, is the song My Own Summer is one of the best songs on here. All of the singles are good. There's 2 singles and 1 promotional one. And all of these are some of the best songs. They're not the only good songs, but they're the ones that you should go for just to get started. But if you're hoping that you've heard some of these songs on the radio, that's just not the case. And that's really the only other weakness, is if, you're getting used to like nu metal sound and you're expecting them to have growth like Limp Bizkit, that may not necessarily be the case. So you might have to kind of shape shift with them, which could be a potential disappointment, but then it also may not. But it's just a thing to know as you head in. But if you're not new to them, it's also, obviously these songs are going to hit that much more because the entire album stands out. That's, I'm glad for that. I appreciate the songs that were heard, but, once again, I would like to be able to listen to music where, it's not a unheard of subject that, we mentioned this group. So I'm just unaware if I'll hear some of these songs on the radio at all, but we'll see. And the only thing left is, obviously, once again, Mascara is a really good song to go for. The whole first 5 songs, there's 9 songs on here, but, every single one of these 9 songs is good. So just know that. And so this album will get a 10. The singles speak for themselves. And the only difference is it feels as if now we're kind of getting into hardcore metal type stuff, I mean, this may work because rock is such a large genre that hardcore, metal fans can vibe with casual music listeners, but it's a tricky area to really put a finger on. So that's the only thing is, if you just flip on a rock radio station, whether or not you can ever hear these songs or not. But one song did chart. But, alright, so this album gets a 10. The social score, I will give it a 7, just because the songs did have problems charting. And the social score means how well it plays around you and a group of friends if you listen to that music with them. So the only thing left is the future. They dropped an album in 2016, and can this record be topped? I think that no, it can't. This gets a 10, and that stands to reason that should let you know what to expect from it. But once again, it's kind of early, it's kind of rough around the edges, but it's still solid for what came out in 1997. So rock was kind of, shaky, not necessarily shaky, but, this different things coming up and that sort of thing in the mid-90s, and this was one of said things. Obviously you've got things like Metallica, but that's different from what I'm reviewing. But alright, subscribe for more fun. This is Acid Roots.